Assalamualaikum to Dr. Azrin. Today we will present our topic is real workplace conflict. Let me introduce my team members. My name is Shirin Erina and others name is Nurujana, Husna Hotimah, Alia Inshirah and Amira Sofia. Now, I will explain about introduction first. Workplace conflict is a common issue in all organizations, including medical companies. It usually happens due to poor communication, heavy workload, relation problem, and different expectations among employees. In this study, we analyze a real case based on an interview with an HR manager. Next, the objective of this study is understand the cause of workplace conflict as well as the method used to manage and resolve the conflict. Lastly, the scope of this study focus on a workplace conflict case in a medical manufacturing company in Malaysia. This study is based on HR interview and looks into a situation, the people involved, and how the conflict was handled. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, which is Nurujana. Now, I will
Let's move for the company profile. This company is a medical device manufacturer in Malaysia and is part of a global healthcare group. The medical technology used by doctor and nurse in hospital around the world. Because this industry is highly regulated, the company places strong importance on product quality, patient safety, and international standard. The company operation in Malaysia are important for the global manufacturing and production. Let's move for the company profile. This company is a medical device manufacturer in Malaysia and is part of a global healthcare group. The medical technology used by doctor and nurse in hospital around the world. Because this industry is highly regulated, the company places strong importance on product quality, patient safety, and international standard. The company operation in Malaysia are important for the global manufacturing and production. Let's move for the company profile. This company is a medical device manufacturer in Malaysia and is the nature of this conflict is an interpersonal conflict, meaning it's happened between people. In this case, the supervisor and employee. It's a communication problem where instructions are not clear, so employee become confused. There is also high workload which make employee feel stressed and tired. Next, both sides have different expectations. Employee want clear guidance and management tasks, while management focus on achieving target and deadline. Because of this issue, it leads to stress, misunderstanding, low motivation, and negative work environment. In this conflict, there are primary and secondary party involved. The primary parties are employee and supervisor. Employee are directly affected by workload and unclear instruction, while the supervisor is responsibility for giving instruction and managing the work. Secondary parties include the HR department, which help handle complaint and resolve conflict, and top management set company policy. Now, I will continue with the overall timeline of the case. As shown in the picture, there are 7 stages that explain how the issue started and developed. Overall, the problem started from increased workload, then lead to the stress, communication problem, and unresolved issue, which finally caused workplace conflict. In this case, HR is important to handle and solve the situation to make sure the issue is properly managed and the workplace become better again. That's all for my part. Next, I will move to the next presenter. Now, I will continue with the overall timeline of the case. As shown in the picture, there are 7 stages that explain how the issue started and developed. Overall, the problem started from increased workload, then lead to the stress, communication problem, and unresolved issue, which finally caused workplace conflict. In this case, HR is important to handle and solve the situation to make sure the issue is properly managed and the
Now I will explain the critical analysis of conflict management at the medical company that we interviewed. Based on our interview, the medical company used several strategies to manage workplace conflict. First, the company encouraged open communication where employees are encouraged to discuss issue with their supervisor or HR as early as possible. This helps resolve issue before they become more serious. Second, HR act as a neutral third party by facilitate communication between the two parties involved to help them reach a fair solution. The company also follows standard operating procedure or SOP and conduct fair investigation before making any decisions. This ensures that every case is handled consistently and based on facts. Lastly, the medical company emphasized preventive measures such as employee training, effective communication, and teamwork to help prevent future conflicts. Next, for the analysis of the overall, the conflict management approach used by the medical company that we interviewed is effective in resolving workplace conflict and maintain a positive working environment. However, it may not always be the ideal approach because more complex conflicts such as serious interpersonal issues may require additional support and long-term solutions. Moreover, the approach is more likely to de-escalate conflicts rather than escalate them because it focuses on early communication, mediation, fact investigation, and structured conflict resolution. From the perspective of an HR manager, I will strengthen the existing approach by provide regular conflict management training, encourage continuous employee feedback, and implement early intervention programs. This improvement can help prevent conflicts from escalate and promote a safer, more respectful and more productive workplace. Overall, the conflict management approach used by the medical company that we interviewed is effective in resolving workplace conflict and maintain a positive.
Thank you, Alia. So now let's move on to analysis based on conflict management model or theories. Before I explain the analysis, let me briefly explain the model. Conflict is a normal situation in every organization. In this company, conflict happens because of high workload, poor communication between employees and supervisors, and different expectations between employees and management. To analyze this conflict, we use the Thomas Kilmann Conflict Management Model 1974. This model explains 5 ways to handle conflict, which is competing, avoiding, accommodating, compromising, and also collaborating. Now, I will explain each conflict and the conflict management style used to solve it. First, high workload. High workload occurs because of staff shortage, excessive working hours, and the pressure to meet production targets. From the Thomas Kilmann model. So now let's move on to the ethical responsibility of HR manager. HR manager plays an important role in ensuring the organization operates fairly and ethically. This helps create a positive workplace and maintain the organization reputation. First, HR manager must provide equal opportunities by making fair decisions in recruitment, promotion, training, and also salary based on employees' qualification and performance. Second, they must maintain confidentiality by protecting employees' personal information, salary records, and performance appraisal, and ensuring that only authorized people can access this information. Lastly, HR manager must ensure a safe workplace by creating policy to prevent bullying, harassment, and discrimination, as well as handling employee complaints fairly and professionally.
Now, I will explain the proposed alternative HR strategies that can help prevent similar conflict in the future. The first strategy is strategic workload management. Since high workloads was one of the main causes of the conflict, HR should regularly review employees' workload and ensure tasks are distributed fairly. This helps reduce stress and improve employees' well-being. The second strategy is implementing a structured communication program. By doing this, HR can organize regular meetings between supervisors and employees to discuss work-related issues, expectations, and feedback. Better communication can reduce misunderstanding and strengthen workplace relationships. Lastly, HR should introduce performance expectation alignment by discussing job responsibilities and production targets regularly. Both employees and management can have a clearer understanding of expectation, reducing conflict caused by miscommunication. Now, I will explain the proposed alternative for the next slide. Based on these strategies, there are 3 main recommendations for improvement. The first is leadership development. Supervisors should receive a regular training in communication, conflict resolution, and emotional intelligence so they can handle employee issues more effectively. Second, HR should introduce a confidential employee feedback system. This gives employees a safe platform to share concerns about workload or communication before the situation becomes more serious. Finally, HR should strengthen employee well-being programs by organizing stress management workshops and engagement activities. These initiatives help employees cope with work pressure while creating a healthier and more positive working environment. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you. For the next slide, based on these strategies, there are 3 main recommendations for improvement. The first is leadership.
Thank you, Mira. Now I will present the summary of key finding, analysis, and conclusion. First, the summary of key finding showed that workplace conflict was mainly caused by poor communication and high workload. The organization manage this conflict through HR procedure such as mediation and training. Next, from the analysis of finding, the conflict management approach in the organization is generally effective. However, is it more reactive rather than proactive? This means action is usually taken after problem occurs. Therefore, improvements are needed in leadership style and workload distribution. The conclusion of this study is that workplace conflict is mainly caused by communication issue and heavy workload, which can affect employee performance and motivation. The organization thus use